Guys, so just a while ago, my parents asked me about our podcast, and I ended up showing them a video. What started out to be a small 2 minute snippet ended out to be the entire video because they were so engrossed in it. But the best point was they started laughing when Karthi spoke about Arsenal, how Arsenal need to
Arsenal
be winning
winning.
10 out of 10 games, and how I replied saying, "So your big solution is 10 out of 10 games," and both of them just started laughing. So I just thought I'll bring that up before we start.
But it's good, no? Like if they're liking it, so we're doing something right then.
But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the wider the audience we cater to, the better for us.
Yeah.
yeah. We're bringing in the older age groups as well, no?
Bringing in groups,
Yeah.
connecting by groups. Hashtag bench banter. I
Mm.
made them watch the Liverpool City game with me yesterday,
Mhm.
and they were
Oh,
just sitting on either side. I was like, "Don't talk, just watch, just watch, just be happy you're getting to watch this beautiful game."
did they also
But
feel the intensity of the game? Like, did they feel like something big was happening on their screens?
they did. They were just very quiet and watching the game with me, and I was like staring at the screen the entire time. So they also were like, "Okay, okay, we'll also watch. Let's not make
Oh, this is
noise."
something happening.
Yeah,
But what a game, like
Yeah.
I mean, before we say anything, I think kudos to Shashank. He made the right prediction of the 1-1 draw.
See?
So claps for him.
Like,
But what a game! What a game! Worthy of the hype. I mean, it completely lived up to it.
mhm.
Uh, I mean, in the first half, I was like, okay, City got the lead. They're going to control the game now. I was
Mhm.
expecting City to stay ahead, manage the game out well. And second half, the intensity that Liverpool came out with,
Came
I
out with
think
it.
like Klopp at halftime, he's like, if you guys don't do it for me, I'm going to quit right after this game instead of the at the end of the season. So I felt like it was wave after wave of Liverpool, press and Liverpool attack. And if only their finishing was better, they would probably win like by 4 goals easily.
Yeah.
If only Luis Diaz and these guys had like finished better. But at the end, I mean, this result keeps the title race wide open, and it gives you guys a reason to smile because Arsenal are at the top of the table now. So, what do you guys have to say about that game
Oh,
that happened yesterday?
the game was quite interesting. I predicted 1-1 only not just because Arsenal need to go on top of the table. It's because of how Liverpool play, and they came out really strong. And considering when you watch Manchester City play, their defensive errors have been more lately. Since
true.
New Year, their defense have not, they've not been able to be the defensive prowess what Pep used to be. It's not the same anymore. This is probably the main reason why I thought it will be a 1-1 draw. Uh, phew, to my credit, it was a 1-1 draw, but I think it should have been more than that. I
Yeah,
think both teams missed incredible opportunities. So much
absolutely.
woodwork. I think more than goalkeeper. I think the post had more work uh, in the game
Yeah,
yesterday.
Doku hit the post, Foden hit the
Doku the
post.
post, and then
Yeah,
the most important thing was the Salah sub and the pass that he played for Luis Diaz. That
True.
was a beauty to watch. He should have finished it, and I think that would have completely opened the game for Liverpool at that point. Okay, unfortunately, that didn't happen, and many chances later, nothing happened, and it ended up in a 1-1 draw. I'm not going to go into this VAR penalty things. These kind of things are, let's say, it's part and parcel of the modern game these days. I don't want to go deep into that. But irrespective of that, it was an interesting game. I think both teams should be proud of how they played, and I think Klopp would be much more happier than Pep at the end of that game. I think he went with a better result than expected from that game.
yeah, but I think initially, if you're told Klopp with that team, you would get a 1-1 draw. I think,
Mhm.
like you said, Klopp would definitely have taken it. But having said that, having seen that second half, it was
Mhm.
definitely Pep who would have been happier that they held on for a point.
Well,
Because
yeah,
at, at at many stages in that second half, right? You were like, this is like some attack versus defense game that's going on
yeah,
because it was absolutely dominant from Liverpool, especially that 45 to like 65, 70 minute mark. Where I don't think City like I didn't even see Haaland. Like, was he in the game? Like, I didn't
yeah,
see him at all.
yeah.
And if they're like Shashank said, if their finishing was even more like little bit better, I don't even think it would have come down to uh, those penalty calls or those
Or
50-50,
VAR
60
bullshit. Yeah.
whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
But having said that, it should never have come down to there because their finishing was quite awful, to be very honest. not that City didn't have their chances. They of course did have their chances, but Liverpool, I think, had way more clear cut chances than City did. And I feel like at halftime, if you're told Klopp 1-1 would be the result, he would probably take it. But having seen that second half from his boys, like I would if I was Klopp, I would definitely be disappointed that I didn't come away with more from that game, because they deserved more clearly from their second half performance. So Pep would probably tell them, you know what, put it out of your minds. You're still in the title race. Whatever happened in that second half happened. Focus on, I think, Arsenal, right? Next.
Yeah.
So I think Pep is going to be like, you know what, remove that second half out of your heads. Just forget it. At the
Mhm.
end of the day, we're still a point behind the both of them.
Mhm.
And knowing Arsenal, they might slip up. I mean, of course, you can cause the slip up yourself because you're
Mhm.
playing them eventually. And Liverpool, you just need one draw or one
Mhm.
call to go against them, which by the looks of things has happened quite a lot this season. But let's not go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure Pep will be like much happier, especially towards the end of the game. I think City were just hanging on, like they were just hanging on for dear life. They're like, just get the ball away from the damn box, do something or the other, just keep the draw, take the point home. I mean, if you see most of the City players posts on Instagram and Twitter and all of those places, it feels like they're much happier with the point. Like even
Yeah.
Haaland's post was like, "I'm taking like basically he's like I'm taking a point home. Like I'm glad I'm taking that point home because at various stages in that second half, it looked like nothing
Yeah.
actually."
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, and lucky escape in the end, even through the game, and with that very iffy decision, if you will, uh,
Yeah.
at the end of the game. But having said that, at the end of the day, 1-1, winner Arsenal. So let's see how this title race unfolds, right?
Yeah, that was actually a very clever X post which you had put. The one which said the final result is a draw for City and Liverpool, but the winner
Yeah.
is Arsenal.
It was Arsenal. Yeah.
That was pretty witty, and I felt very happy when I read that tweet. But coming to the game, big shout out to who's their right back, man? Bradley.
Who's
Connor
Bradley?
Bradley.
No,
Oh, that
Connor Bradley.
Bradley
Oh
is a
my
is a
god,
is
Bradley is
a
incredible.
that
talent. He's a
kid!
gem.
He was so fearless, man. You can see
Yeah.
that he wants to prove himself in every game. He's like, Trent isn't there today, but we'll see who's here tomorrow. It's like,
Have you
I
have you
love.
seen that? I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but have you seen that meme wherein like those two people are sitting on the chair and they go like, "Damn!" Have you seen that meme?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
The
yeah.
guy with the gold chain.
Good kid.
So
Yeah.
when I saw Bradley do that run, right, he
But,
blew
Oh.
past two City defenders. He put in that stunning cross, and I'm like, "Damn!" And then I'm like, Shaq, I'm like, "Okay, sorry, I was not familiar with your game."
yeah.
But that was a like that was like a coming of age game for him,
Yeah.
because till then, I mean, there was
He's been incredible
glim-
actually. The last
yeah,
2 months, I think he's been
exactly,
incredible
there
for
were there
Liverpool.
were glimpses of talent.
Runs,
There
yeah.
there were moments of where he showed that he can really I mean, play at the highest level. But yesterday's game, I was like, wow, like
Yeah.
the nerves for a kid at that level to
Hmm.
come out to that Anfield atmosphere, even if it's his own home atmosphere, it's still very nervy as a
Yeah.
player. You're like, if I make that mistake, what if I'm the one who gives the other team the 3 points, right? You always have that fear somewhere, like in this atmosphere especially. But kudos to him, he kept his head. Oh, he was
Yeah.
cool, he was collected. He nullified any and all threats that City put at him. It was a really wonderful game to watch from a young kid, like you said.
Seriously, and that first goal, oh, the irony of that first goal, of that particular type of goal being scored against Liverpool.
Please don't talk
Ashwin, this
about
must haunt you,
that commentary is still
right? This
ringing in
must
my
really haunt
ears.
you. But such a good corner kick. Very,
Very,
very
yeah.
smart play.
Whew.
And
But
Stones finished
and
it. And Kelleher almost saved that, like he almost got his body in front of it, and he almost saved that, but that went in, and the way they celebrated, it just
yeah.
had to happen that way. I w-
I
I
mean,
was like, oh, this reminds me of that exact same scenario, but only this time it's against Liverpool. It's like,
Right.
a taste of their own medicine.
for all the praise that you guys gave McAllister in the last podcast, and he had to be the one that got shoved by in the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he
Yeah,
also took a very calm and
But he
composed
was superb. Like that
penalty.
Liverpool midfield was absolutely superb
absolutely.
through
Yeah,
the game. I think I think Slobozlai not so much. I mean, he gave them
but,
control, but he was not flashy. But I think Endo, what a job he
yeah,
did
yeah,
on
yeah, no,
KDB, and I mean McAllister was everywhere. He was spraying the passes. Like I know Avinash, you will not accept it, but come on, he was everywhere. And of course, he gave them he took a nice, very cool, calm penalty at
yeah,
that point, at that stage. Should have won another one. What do you
yeah,
think about that?
Look, as far as I don't want to dive deep into this particular topic because both of you
Right, right.
don't want to, but I just want to say what it was. It felt like it was a high boot inside the D, and there was contact. By the rules, this is a penalty. Now, what they
Definitely.
say is it touched the ball.
yeah.
Doku
He
got
hit
a
the
little
ball.
bit of the ball, and there wasn't enough evidence to give it a penalty.
Yeah, but
I
here's
don't know
yeah,
how I feel about it, but at the end of the day, it's a 1-1. I'll take the 1-1, and I'm happy
yeah.
because at this
I mean,
particular
as an
moment,
Arsenal fan, that is probably the best result you could have had.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
having said that, I think it's one of those calls. Like, if it was given a penalty, there would not be enough evidence to like say it's not a penalty. But at
yeah.
the same time, now that it was not given as a penalty,
Mhm.
uh,
It's
I mean,
difficult
he
to
did get the
overturn.
ball. Like, he got a
Yeah,
little bit of the ball and much more of the man, but
man.
he did get the ball. So it's very difficult to overturn the call. I mean, Liverpool will definitely feel hard done by. And if I was a Liverpool fan, I would feel that too. But just as a neutral watching it, I can understand why that was not given. But I would have totally understood if it was given as well. Like, it's one of those calls, right? Like,
right.
I don't even know. It's not even 50-50. It's like 100-0 for whatever the call is. If it is a
Mhm.
penalty, it's a stonewall penalty. And if it is not a penalty, it's very difficult to overturn the penalty, right? It's that kind of a call.
I get what you
So,
mean.
but
Yeah.
yeah, but like you said, whatever it is, 1-1, that's all
Yeah,
that matters to both of you. I see the shirts are out in full force.
yeah,
A
for sure.
big midweek game coming up for you guys.
Mhm.
What do
For
you
all
think
Yeah,
of
about it?
us, not
Yeah,
for
for
just
all
all
of
of
us,
us,
not
all
just
three of us.
you guys.
yeah,
I mean, I'm so like tensed about the game. I've forgotten the other two games that are there. Like I know Arsenal Porto is there because we've been
yeah.
talking about it, and of course I know my game is there. But completely like lost track of what are the other two games, what are the scorelines because I'm
Eindhoven is
so
playing
focused.
Dortmund. Eindhoven is playing Dortmund at Signal Iduna Park,
And
and the other one
Inter are
is
playing Atletico, no?
at
Yeah, I
in
think
Madrid.
they're playing at Atletico. I think they're playing
In
in
Madrid,
Madrid.
Madrid, they're playing in Madrid.
Madrid, yeah. But
But who cares about
let's
that?
start with
Let's talk
let's
about.
get those two games
I
out of
mean,
the way. Let's get those two games out of the way before we come to the main course
uh,
event, if you will.
I
What
mean,
do you think about the Inter
uh,
Atletico game?
Inter Atletico. I mean, Inter
Yeah.
got one game at their home, and I'm thinking Atletico will get one back in their home and goes to overtime. Hopefully, penalty kicks because it's been small games till now. I would like to see one penalty at least, just to
Yeah.
make it more interesting for the final nail biting finish. So I think it will be like that. I think Atletico will go for a 1-0 at home and then it'll end up going to extra time and then to penalties. Maybe I can be
So what do
wrong,
you
but
think? Who wins on the night and who wins the tie?
oof, I think Atletico wins on the night and the tie. I mean, whoever wins the night,
Yeah, I
if
mean,
if
yeah,
it is
pretty
going
much.
to be a draw, then yeah,
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, so whoever wins on the night will probably win the
win
tie as
the
well.
win the tie for sure.
No, but penalties
But
don't count up until
I mean,
120
it
minutes.
could be a draw and
Inter get
Inter could
through,
take
right?
the win. Yeah.
Yeah, but what do you
Okay.
think? Like, what is your final
I think Atletico will win.
expert
At
opinion?
home, I
Atletico.
think they should. I think they should have the edge at home,
Yeah,
considering
I
the
mean,
second
but
leg. Yeah.
like you said, right? If there's potential of penalties in any of these games, I think
Mhm.
it is definitely this one because
Mhm.
both are defensively extremely
Ex-
solid.
yeah.
Both work on that, fast, quick goal and then sit back and absorb
Yeah.
pressure type of game. So if Atletico get that quick goal that they're eventually going to be looking for, it's
Mhm.
going to be one of those hard grind, you stop start
Yeah.
battles where you have those nibbling fouls, those just
Yeah.
those shirt tucks, just this
Mhm.
little bit of like that spice in the game. Not enough to get red cards, just not enough to continue the flow of the game. I think Atletico have built an entire play style on that kind of football,
Yeah.
so I'm expecting it to. I mean, but having said that, I really feel Inter are so quietly having such a wonderful season this
Mhm.
time round. They're superb in the Serie A. I think they're what 10, 12
15,
points.
I
I don't
think
even know.
14
Yeah,
points
a
ahead.
lot
I
of
think.
points ahead of Juventus.
Yeah.
And they've built on that success from last year. They reached the Champions League final and they lost to, I mean, probably the best team in Europe. So
Best
there's
team.
no shame in losing to City. And they had their chances to win that game as well. Don't
Yeah.
forget what
Yeah,
Lukaku did in that
it was
game.
not a one-sided game for sure.
Yeah. So I think they've built wonderfully on that platform. They're going to win their domestic league. I think they're still in their cup. I'm not very sure because I don't follow Coppa Italia, but I think they're still there. And they could be the dark horses in this. You usually talk about City and Madrid and Bayern winning the Champions League this season, but I would definitely not count out Inter Milan. Because they know. I mean, they've shown that they have what it takes to get there. And
Mhm.
with Martinez and
I don't
Marcus
know how they
Thuram.
are dark horses. They're finalists last year, and they're far and ahead of all other European teams right now. I
Yeah,
think
so
they
I'm
should be
I'm
the
I'm
lead
definitely
horses.
yeah.
Unfortunately, they don't
So
get the what to say, the clout or whatever that they're supposed to. They don't get it, but they're
yeah,
not dark
well,
horses for
that's the
sure.
thing, right? As neutral fans, you
Mhm.
tend to watch teams that are expansive, that can
Yeah,
provide that entertainment, like goal mouth football, that kind of stuff. Inter do that actually. Inter win games 4-0, 5-0, 3-0. I'm not even kidding. They win by a lot of goals, but they don't play like that for 90 minutes. It's not like they're playing like City for 90 minutes, right? they
yeah.
they play very pragmatic football, which is the style of how Italian football is played. It's not their fault. They play their
Mm.
Italian football to the T. Like, they're the perfect exponents of that game. Defensively solid, quick on the counter. They have like 8 shots, 5 goals. Simple. Close, shut up shop, win the game 5-0, go
Yeah.
home. City are like, peppering the goal with 20 shots, 25 shots, winning
No,
5-0,
I think
6-0.
Arsenal are best at that. Not even
Yeah,
I
score
was
yeah.
just
anything,
going to
but
say.
shoot
I
like
mean,
40
yeah,
times.
yeah. So having said that, definitely I think on the night also Inter might win this one. And of course, if on the night they win, I think the tie goes to Inter as well. But I think it will be an interesting watch on I think the Wednesday night, right?
Yeah, it's
I
Yeah,
think it'll
Wednesday night.
be
Wednesday night.
I think that's the biggest game on Wednesday night because yeah, what do you think,
Nope. Yeah.
Avinash?
I think the other one is more interesting.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
Yeah.
just
get to that.
quickly
Yeah.
give my prediction. I don't have much to add to what you all said.
Mhm.
All my energy is only on this one particular match. Like I
Yeah,
told you,
exactly.
I'm pretty sure I
Focus.
speak for all three of us.
Yeah.
But I think it's going to be a draw on the night. I think Inter are. I don't want to say park the bus, but I think it's going to be an iron defense where all 11 of them are going to be trying to, prevent the ball from getting to the back of the net. I expect a draw, Inter versus Atletico, and overall the tie is going to be won by Inter. Inter progress to quarters. Coming to PSV versus Borussia, I think Borussia is going to win this. They're playing at Borussia, and
Yeah,
like I
that is
said
true.
before, I've seen PSV play. Arsenal's played them twice, and I
Mhm.
know how they play. I know how Dortmund's been playing. I expect Dortmund to be going through pretty easy. I think that's probably the easiest game this week, or the
Of the
game I'm least looking forward to this week.
yeah.
I'm hoping for surprises, but like I said, I see Dortmund winning on the night, and I also see Dortmund going through. How about you, Sashank?
Poor. I don't think it. I think that will be the most interesting game on Wednesday because I actually thought it would be an easy game for Dortmund at Eindhoven, but it proved to be so difficult. They had to scrap for that one goal that they got, and I think Eindhoven is going to bring all the force back to Signal Iduna Park. With that being said, I still think Dortmund might edge them, but it won't be by a lot. I am expecting a 2-1 scoreline at the end, and
So
then
you're saying
a 3-2
Dortmund to
aggregate.
win, right?
So 2-1 to a Dortmund and a 3-2 aggregate to Dortmund to win. It won't be a bad loss for Eindhoven. They should be proud about it. And
I
if they
mean,
go ahead to win it, even more,
yeah.
kudos to them. Good job.
I wouldn't go so far as to say that it's the most interesting game, but because I like that Inter Atletico, that tactical
Mhm.
battle. I think PSV and Dortmund is like the battle of the mid, which makes
Mhm.
it interesting in its own way because they're very inconsistent, very unknown quantities in the Champions League. I'm pretty sure like out of the 8 teams that eventually end up qualifying, if both of our teams qualify,
Mhm.
looking at the teams that are left there, you would want to play the winner of this tie in the
Yeah,
quarterfinals,
exactly.
Probably,
be it
Exactly.
exactly.
PSG, be it Dortmund, like whichever, like because you see that other teams there, every single one are candidates to win the CL.
Yeah.
PSV or Dortmund, highly doubt. So
Mhm.
I mean, the result of this game does not matter to me because I just want to play the winner of that game eventually. I mean, that's what if we get
Yeah.
through as well ourselves. But having said that, I do think the inconsistency of both teams just gives the edge to the individual quality of one of those teams, and that is Borussia Dortmund. So I do think Dortmund will win the night and the tie. But like Shashank said, I don't think it'll be a cakewalk. I think PSV will show up, will turn up. They have some decent players. I think Luke De Jong is in very good form,
Yeah,
our former
definitely.
Barca striker as well. So I'm not putting it past them to make life difficult for Dortmund. But at home, I do think Dortmund will go through, and they will win the tie as well.
Barca, Napoli.
Oh, I'm not even kidding, dude. Like I'm seeing all this interviews and everything from the press conferences and everything, and Xavi is like, we need the fans to turn up and turn Montjuic into like a pressure cooker,
What?
and that's going to
What?
be what
Montjuic. Oh, that's the
Montjuic.
nickname.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Yeah,
our
yeah.
that's our stadium right now. Camp Nou is getting renovated, right? But
Renovated or sold?
no, we're getting it renovated. I mean, I wouldn't be. I mean, it will get sold eventually,
Well,
but for now,
no
thankfully, it's
offense,
just
but
renovation. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be so important because the last European fixture in Europe that we played, right, knockout fixture, it was against what do you call Eintracht Frankfurt in the Europa League, and
yeah.
the problem with that game was it was farcical scenes because somehow more Frankfurt fans got into the stadium than Barcelona fans. So the Camp Nou was white, so
Mhm.
it was a very intense atmosphere for the wrong reasons, and we ended up losing that game 2-3. So this time, like they've put in like what do you call visiting team protocols and all that, making sure that it's going to be a hostile atmosphere. It's still never going to compare to Camp Nou because, like I said, I think in one of the previous episodes as well, the 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 stadium has a track running around the football pitch, so
Mhm.
the fans sit very far away
Far
from
away.
this thing.
Like in most Indian grounds.
Yeah, what
So
the
it's not
hell?
that intense. What do you call cauldron like atmosphere that you want in such a game like this. But coming to the game itself, I really don't know what to expect. Napoli are hitting good form. We are injury ravaged. Our entire first choice midfield is out except Gundogan. I really don't know what to expect. Frankie's out, Pedri's out, Gavi's
Yeah.
out. It's going to be a tough game. I don't even know what to say. Like there's so many battles all across the pitch, right? How are we going to contain Osimhen? How are we going to prevent Quaradonna, if you will, from working his magic? That Napoli midfield is industrious. It works very hard. So how are we going to combat that with our uh, second choice, maybe even third choice midfield? Because we are going to have to play Sergi Roberto. We are going to have to play Aurel Romeu.
Yeah.
These are not our first choice players at all,
Mhm.
but we still believe we are at home. I think same effect that Klopp had probably, I mean, in terms of like Klopp deciding to leave the club at the end of the season, how that has galvanized Liverpool to try and win something for him. I think that same effect is working for us as well. We are doing our best to like give Xavi the send off that he deserves because he's done a lot in the last couple of years, especially with so many off field troubles that we have had in these last few years. So I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that all that matters because on the field, I do think Napoli have an edge in terms of like players and
Mhm.
actual play style and form and just generally in the injury aspect of it as all. But I think at home, with that players wanting to give it their all, we actually managed to rest a few players as well in at the weekend. So Lewandowski and these guys are a little bit rested, so I mean, hand on heart, I really hope we get through. So I would say Barca win the night and the tie,
Yeah.
but it is going to be a fascinating watch for me. And I just can't say. I mean, if I wanted to speak, I'd probably speak for a longer time. So I'm just going to end it here and say, let's see what happens. But it's going to be an interesting one for sure. And I really hope that we get through this one.
Yeah, like you said, you remember for the first, like how you said you'd be watching both the matches side by side, one on
Yeah,
TV, one on
I
laptop, or
think this
one on
one is just
TV, one on
singular
laptop.
focus on one match for me.
I'm very because you said now when you said that the stadium it's surrounded by the track and all that,
Yeah,
I know because the match that happened here also like that, you don't feel so connected to the team,
Connected, yeah.
exactly.
like yesterday when John Stone scored that goal and he got on top of that barricade and did this to the City fans, right? That meant
Exactly.
something. Now he'll have to probably use binoculars to see what the
Yeah,
fans are saying or
Yeah,
whatever. So agreed, even though you're playing at home, I don't know if that impact is going to be as much as having your
exactly. Yeah.
fans right there. You get what I'm saying? I think it's going to be a draw, to be very honest with
Oh,
you. I think it's going to go into extra time, probably 1-1. I don't know.
mm.
And then penalties. Just for for you, I want Barca to win, but I would rather have Arsenal face Napoli than
Mm.
Barcelona.
Fair
I know
enough. Yeah,
again
fair
that
enough.
I don't know because Napoli is also a very strong team. There's a
strong.
part of me
Yeah.
which wants Arsenal to face Barca because I feel
Barca,
we
yeah, for sure.
but if these fellows come back, then it'll be very difficult for us. Gavi, Pedri, and all those people. I
Yeah.
don't know because again, it's two very, very young teams. Oh, that's a very good lineup. Okay, you know what? I want Barca to win. I want to see Arsenal
But
Barca happen.
yeah, I think if we qualify as a fan, wanting your team to progress to the semis, you would want to play the winner of the PSV Dortmund tie. But if there's one game that is so exciting that could happen in the quarterfinals, it is Arsenal versus Barca. Because very similar play styles, very similar age profiles of players, very
Yeah.
similar ways. And the thing is, it's like a change of guard. One is on their way up, the other one is still finding. Arsenal are finding. I mean, Arsenal are on their way up. We are
Mhm.
still finding our way there after the past couple of years. So I think that would be the most interesting watch. Having said that, obviously you would want to face the winner of the PSV Dortmund game. Let's be honest here. But thank you for choosing Barcelona. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. I'm trying to do whatever I can. I'm trying to get
Yeah.
all the good positive energy onto me
We're
and
gonna
my
need
team.
we're gonna need every ounce and then
Everything,
some
yeah.
more.
But
Yeah,
after watching the
Sashank.
first leg of Napoli Barcelona, I think I would take Barcelona, man. Napoli would be a very difficult game for Arsenal.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
So
rather have a fast Barcelona team to deal with than a slow and tied up Napoli to deal with,
Yeah.
especially in the midfield game. I don't want us to be tied up there. I want the ball to be more forward, and that will be much easier to play with Barcelona.
Yeah, because we have very similar styles, right? We are not going to sit
Yeah,
back and wait for you to come at us.
yeah.
We are going to come right back at you. So it's going to open up a lot of,
Open up so much, but Napoli
spaces
is
and
not like that. They hold their mid very well,
yeah,
and I think that will be a very difficult playstyle for us to match up with. So I think I mean,
yeah,
I mean, for all we know, Porto might go through. So,
we will
we'll get
come to
there.
that.
We'll come there. We'll come
Yeah.
there. The
but
big game
but
will
but
come there.
but yeah, Barcelona Napoli is going to be very interesting. I'm also looking for another penalty there, just to make
Okay.
my Tuesday more interesting, because you guys are probably will be tired that you want to go to sleep by the time the penalties are over. For me, it's just perfect time for me my sleep to set in. So when the penalties are over, I can go to sleep. So
Your
I would
Tuesday
rather,
doesn't need any more interesting features, Shashank. You have Arsenal versus Porto, where Arsenal are
yeah.
trying
I
to
mean,
overturn
my
a
point
deficit.
is, I would probably be completely focused on Arsenal Porto match, and when that's done, I could go and watch the penalties. It
Oh yeah,
makes my life a little bit.
right. So,
You
but
see,
you are saying it's gonna. So you're saying it's gonna be a draw on the night and penalties, and
yeah,
who takes the penalties?
for sure, Barcelona.
If all the gods are listening, Arsenal fans are trying to attract all positive energy onto Barcelona. We are doing a good deed, so let a good deed come back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, with
And
that
then,
in
and then
mind,
we
let's
can
move
fight
on
over in
to.
the next
But
podcast.
coming back to the biggest good deed that Arsenal require, this deficit. I mean, if the people watching this video haven't already seen the previous one where Avinash and Shashank rant about the Arsenal loss, go check that out.
But
But what is this game? I mean, what do you expect coming into this game? How are you going to overturn this deficit?
like I said, when you say that Inter goes on, takes 8 shots, scores 5 goals, Arsenal took 27 or 25 and scored zero. And I think none on target. Yeah, it was none on target after 24 shots. So it is normal of Arsenal to take many shots, but it's abnormal that we don't even hit the target, not even the goalkeeper. Like,
Right.
I mean, how do you take a shot and doesn't even go on target? Not even hitting the defender on the way, man,
And
something.
that to
So
27
where
times.
20, 24, 25 times, man, where are you hitting these balls? Where are these going? I don't know. No, but watching that, like I said in the previous podcast, this expected goals, this should be on our favor. Coming in as one of the, especially this week, we are going to come in as top of the league. The last game was not the same. Now we are coming in as top of the Premier League. I'm not saying that we represent the league, but in some way, this weight is on the team that they are representing one
Yeah,
of the
the
top
onus
leagues,
falls
and
on
they
you
are
guys to hold that up.
whole.
Yeah,
I mean, at least they can think of it like that. But we
yeah,
come in as as top of our league, and the expected goals or the possibilities to score goals against Porto should be. It should not. It should be a landslide. I'm not even joking that it should be even. We should be better than them by little. It should be a landslide. It should be a landslide from the quality that we have, how we are playing, all of it together. But whether the players will turn up, it's a question that I cannot answer now. That's up to them for tomorrow. But potentially, it should be a landslide. I don't expect anything else from Arsenal. The same. I go with the same prediction like last time. It's going to be 5-0 to Arsenal.
Yeah, I
Wait,
think
I still
is it at the Emirates or is it in Porto?
Emirates. That's why 5-0. I mean,
Nice.
I chose 5-0 away. So I'm obviously going to take 5-0 at home.
5-0 at home, yeah.
yeah. Unlike last time, this time I might join you in your prediction. We're playing at Emirates. I wouldn't be surprised if we're leading 3-0 at 20 minutes into the game, and it's a cakewalk from then. I'll probably just switch to Napoli's match.
I like the confidence. But I feel that too. But Porto coming into Emirates is not going to be an easy task for them. I know that they somehow managed a one goal win over us at home for them, but I don't think that might be enough at Emirates. I don't think that even in the recent past, one goal has never been enough against Arsenal at home. So they might need to work a little bit harder than that. I don't know if they have it in them to push them a little bit further. I know that Avinash mentioned that Martinelli is injured. I don't think we need him for this game, but I hope that doesn't become a X factor.
Yeah, so we after the match we have tomorrow, we have an 18 or 19-day break. Our next game is against City, so we have all
Very
difficult
first.
fixtures coming up. But
Mhm.
after tomorrow, we have a long break, and I think that should be the incentive. That should be what drives these kids. All of them are kids, that should be telling them to give it all they have. It's okay even if they get injured. They have 2 weeks to come after this. I'm not jinxing the injury part. Okay, we don't
Yeah.
need any jinxes. But going into this game, there is a lot at stake. I think it's a season defining game with the Premier League. I still we sit on top for the moment, but let's all be honest. We have the most difficult run of fixtures. It's
Yeah,
very
for
likely
sure.
we're going to come down from here. But reaching the quarterfinals of the Champions League is something that hasn't happened in a long time, and we have a good fixture. We have the chance. If this team cannot defeat Porto and go through, then I'll just be very upset with this entire thing. I'm still not convinced with this entire progress.
Mhm.
Arsenal have been so good at home. We've been playing such incredible football. If I don't even want us to bring our 100%, even our 80 or 85% is more than enough
Yeah.
tomorrow night to defeat Porto. Porto coming to this, it'll be iron defense. It'll be all of them if they could if they had a chance. The formation would be 10-0-0. There would be no one. It would just be all at the back. Okay, and probably one mistake which we make that could lead to the goal. See, Arsenal are like that. We'll have possession 90% of the time. We'll make one error, but that one error is enough to concede a goal. So we need to be very, very the way Liverpool and City played on Sunday, how they held their nerves when one person made a mistake, how the other 10 people compensated for that. We need that. We need a lot of morale boosting. We need everyone, that camaraderie. We need all of them to, back each other. That is so important tomorrow. We are still the clear favorites. The 1-0 scoreline does not scare me at all. It could have been a 0-0 for all that matters, because I don't think Arsenal are going to be winning by one goal. I think we'll be winning very considerably, but we need to get off to a good start. We need players like Jorginho and Havertz who have experience of playing in these sort of formats. They need to take control. They need to be the ones who drive the game, because the others are still new to this format. They will be
Yeah.
tense. The fans will be there constantly singing, but we still need these people who are experienced in this format to be driving us forward. Under the right guidance, under Arteta's tactics, I feel we will win this game.
Yeah.
Again, I'm trying to get as much positive energy into this as I can, but I
Mhm.
honestly feel this is Arsenal's tie to lose. I see Arsenal winning this by a good margin, and I see Arsenal winning the tie altogether.
Yeah,
Yeah,
interesting.
I mean, I don't have much to add. I think you guys have summed it up quite well. I just have one thing to add, and I think, I mean, it's a little bit anticlimactic, but I would never count Porto out. For the sole reason that I have seen these Portuguese teams play on the European stage, right? And that generally their league is quite easy. They
Mm-hmm.
have Benfica and Porto, maybe a couple of other teams, but generally their league is much easier compared to say your Arsenal's or whatever. The thing with Portuguese teams, right? You know how I keep saying like the Italian teams have a particular identity.
Mm-hmm.
They defend very hard, they defend very deep. I think Portuguese teams like Benfica and Porto, they've managed to somehow build a very nice core, but with a good balance, between the play styles. They can defend for long periods, but they also have it in them to put the pressure back on the opposition team as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a very unique feature that I've seen in Benfica because we played Benfica a couple of times, especially when Darwin Nunes was still back there.
Back in the
And
yeah.
yeah, I mean, they have a good young core as well, but they have that experienced heads at the back. I think Pepe still plays for Porto. I don't know. I think he's still
Yeah,
there.
yeah, that's,
He has the experienced head, but he also has youngsters to help him recover, like you said, from any old man mistakes that he might make against Arsenal's young gunners. But so I would definitely say it would. I mean, it won't be a cakewalk like you guys predict it would be, which is fine. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but I wouldn't. Uh, out at the outset, I wouldn't say that that's the case.
mm-hmm.
Having said that, definitely that my prediction is Arsenal win the night, win the tie as well. I do not see it going any other way. If it goes any other way, I think it would be a huge slap in the face for Arsenal and what they're building there.
Mm-hmm.
Because Porto should not be going through at any cost in this tie. And that I can say with like utmost certainty.
Mm-hmm.
So, having said that, I do think Porto will, they know how to manage such games. They have done it before. Like you said, Avinash, many of these Arsenal guys haven't done that. So, that might come back. I know it, if you say Arsenal don't get off to a good start, it's nil-nil at 45 minutes, nil-nil at 50 minutes. The jitters start creeping in, the fans start feeling the nerves, the players start feeling, oh, will it happen for us? Will it not happen for us? Especially, like Shashank said, if they start taking shots and
Mm-hmm.
it's just the ball refuses to go in sometimes, right? You have those nights. If that happens for the first 30, 40, 50 minutes, it could get very, very nervy in there because it happens to me also because we are also in a very similar stage in terms of like young development. The stadium cannot tolerate that this is happening to them at their home, and it's a very very common feature that I've seen across Europe. The moment your team is not performing the way it should be, the fans energy gets transmitted to the players as well. You take a shot, it misses by a narrow margin, the fans start feeling, will it happen today? Like, is this going to happen at all? That, and the it quietens down, fans start whispering amongst each other. As a TV viewer, you would have heard those, those that lull, just
Yeah.
just interrupted by those whistles in between, and the players can actually hear that, can actually feel that. So imagine the nerves that they are going through. So I think tomorrow will be a mental test because individually, football quality wise, it should be an absolute annihilation. Honestly, Arsenal should, I mean, Porto should get nowhere near Arsenal.
Yeah.
Having said that, the mentality will be a huge thing. I think even if they don't get off to a good start, it's only a goal. They should always remember that Porto got their goal at the last, I mean, probably
Arsenal.
last couple of minutes. So Arsenal should also think of it that way. They should not get flustered. They should not, lose their minds looking for the goal, because that's when the mistakes creep in, right? Your defenders start feeling jittery. They start going forward. They start trying to call for the ball, and one bad pass, and Porto attackers are there to like take advantage.
Mhm.
So it's going to be a good watch. Having said all these things, Arsenal for the night, Arsenal for the tie, definitely. Having said that, somewhere in the corner of my mind, I'm like, in case Porto get through, there's two options that I would rather have, like Porto and the winner of PSV Dortmund,
Yeah.
amongst the giants of City, Bayern, PSG, or just hearing those
Oh,
names at
yeah.
this stage in Barca's development right now. I mean, 10 years back, if you'd asked me, I would be like, bring it on, man. Like any team in Europe, we'll destroy them. Now I'm like, dude, give me the easiest path to the semis at least. Because reaching the semis of the Champions League, one would represent a good season for us, a good
Yeah.
progress. And two, once you reach the semi-finals, it's anyone's game.
Yeah.
It's who performs on that night. It's as simple as that.
Mhm.
So in the semis, anything can happen. Any team can beat anyone. So I think getting there, I just want the easiest path possible. But to sum it all up, Arsenal for the win, Arsenal for the tie, Arsenal for the next stage of the Champions League.
Anyway, for the happiness and sanctity for all three of us, let's hope our teams go through, and or when we get back on Thursday for the review, we're all happy and all smiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
So I
sure.
wish you
Oh
guys all
my
the best.
god! Like I
Sleep
wouldn't
well
know. I
tonight.
wouldn't know how to do that. How to do that episode if it doesn't go well tomorrow. I don't
Find
even want
out.
to think about it.
I won't be
I don't
joining
even
you
want
on
to
for
think
that
about it.
episode.
But
So
see,
it'll be a monologue from me. I wouldn't mind actually.
You can do it on behalf of all of us. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah,
but
guys, get
yeah,
a good night's of rest
exciting
tonight
four
because
fixtures left.
tomorrow we don't know how it's going to be.
Yeah.
But it's the hope. So let's support, let's
Go
back
for
our
it, guys.
teams.
Yes.
And yeah, we'll get back together for the Thursday review.
Yeah.
Yes.
Till then, take care, stay safe, catch you on the review.
And
Ciao,
follow
guys.
us on Instagram, Twitter, whichever social platform you can think of.
Not Twitter X. I mean, it's still getting
Yeah,
weird
XX,
saying
sorry.
XX and every time
Instagram,
X.
X, and whatever other platform that you can think of. We are there.
Spotify. We are there
Yeah,
everywhere.
guys, we've crossed 100 followers on Instagram. So thank you all for subscribing, for following. Our goal for March is to get to 50 subscribers on YouTube. We're almost there. We just need like 3 or 4 more subscribers if I'm not wrong. So please ask your friends and let's help get to that goal.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
cheers.
Yes, guys.
See you.